A Fulton County judge could lose her job after Georgia's judicial watchdog says she broke the law. The Judicial Qualifications Commission says Superior Court Judge Shermela Williams is facing several misconduct allegations, including improper communication with attorneys, delays on ruling on cases, and using her position to try to influence family court cases involving her uncle and a sorority sister. But the most serious accusation here, jailing a 21-year-old witness during her parents' divorce, even though Judge Williams later admitted she had no legal authority to do so. She told members of the commission that she just wanted to send a message. Well, the commission has recommended her removal to the Georgia Supreme Court. Former Fulton County Assistant District Attorney Daryl Cohen says a recommendation like this is rare and reflects the severity of the accusations.
We have to know as lawyers and as litigants, people in the courtroom, that judge, male or female, young or old, it doesn't really matter, is above reproach and doesn't have a stake in the case, doesn't care who wins, just wants to follow the law and do the right thing.
Williams does have the opportunity to push back against her removal. She previously told the commission that she believes a suspension would be more appropriate.
What's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck here again. What did I tell you all? I have a whole playlist on this corrupt judge, Shermela Williams, or as the newscaster just said, Shermela. Either way, I don't care. The JQC has unanimously decided to have her removed from the bench. I don't know if you all recall, going back to 2023, another judge in the state of Georgia by the name of Christina Peterson, who was removed from the bench and had similar accusations, some of them the exact same as Shermela Williams. It's like they're going to the school of corrupt judges and the hard knocks. Why are you unlawfully detaining anyone and taking away their liberty and freedom without any legal justification to do so? Christina Peterson had a woman jailed over a marriage license. And now you have this absolute horror show of a corrupt judge, Shermela Williams, who was a family court judge in Fulton County that has affected so many lives, so many children, custody cases, down to child support determinations, and was absolutely biased and misinterpreted law, conducted herself so inappropriately. I personally filed 2 complaints to the JQC against her myself. And I don't think it's a secret that, her horrible ruling has affected my personal life with my kids. And I'm now having my case sitting in appeal status. So preferably with her removal now, I will be able to get a reset on my case. Because this is what happens when you have corrupt judges making decisions that affect your children. I've gotten so many comments from people saying that she has made horrible determinations in their cases or their family members' cases, and that they're hoping she gets removed as well. If nothing else, this has taught us here in Fulton County that we need to pay attention to elections. See, Judge Shermela Williams was elected as a Fulton County Superior Court judge, not appointed. And she started this nonsense, the inappropriate, misconduct from day one. This had gone on for over 4 years, her entire tenure. So she had a re-election that occurred, and the only reason why she was able to maintain the position was because she was uncontested. And I'm saying that for a specific reason, because her attorney just flat out lied. So let's read this article here. Fulton County judge facing removal for wrongly arresting witness during parents' divorce, trying to influence family court cases. Fulton County Superior Court judge could be removed from the bench after Georgia's judicial watchdog, the JQC, accused her of serious misconduct. She had 30 misconduct charges, by the way, including wrongfully jailing a witness without legal authority. The Judicial Qualifications Commission has recommended the removal of Judge Shermela Williams, citing multiple violations such as improper communications with attorneys, repeated delays in ruling on cases, and using her judicial power to interfere in family court matters involving her uncle and a sorority sister. And I've read the actual complaint in a separate video, which you can find on the Shermela Williams playlist that I have on my channel, because reporting on a corrupt judge is something that we should all be doing. So, yay me. I think I'm the only one that's mainly reporting on this, but I want you guys to get the word out because this is of great interest to the public. People need to know whom they're electing, who you're voting for, especially those that are sitting on the bench and they're wielding the law and the power that they have on the bench to make decisions, especially those decisions that affect children. Being a family judge is not an easy thing to do. But when you're biased and you're misinterpreting laws, you're having witnesses jailed without legal authority, you're abusing your power, you're behind on getting orders signed and cases out, and you have the worst staff imaginable because, senior staff attorney Brittany Green needs to go right along with Shermela Williams. You make it so difficult for people to be able to seek justice. And if you're biased, now you're showing some sort of preferential treatment of one party over the other. And that is what the sorority sister realized. She didn't go for it. And Shermela Williams got mad because the sorority sister said, no, I'm not going to sit here and allow you to be biased. I want you to be removed off my case. And she filed a motion to have Shermela Williams recused. And what did this judge do? She retaliates. And it makes the threat that she was going to give the sorority sister's children over to their father because she was mad. Since when being a part of a sorority meant you had to be a cult member? Why is it so cultish? Judge Shermela Williams, no one owed you any loyalty of any sort at all. Grow up. Now you've been unanimously voted out. And the JQC did the right thing. They've done it before. Getting rid of these corrupt judges is a part of their job. And they're doing it again. 30 misconduct charges that included you jailing someone because you wanted to teach a lesson. This is the allegation that stands out. The commission said Williams ordered a 21-year-old witness jailed during her parents' divorce proceedings, despite later admitting she had no legal authority to do so. Because, bias and unlawful misconduct. She told the commission she simply wanted to send a message. Well, then the commission said, okay, we will send you one right back. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia. We sending one right back. And we're doing it unanimously. Legal experts said that kind of move is nearly unheard of. Daryl Cohen, a former Fulton County Assistant District Attorney, said this type of recommendation is extremely rare and reflects the severity of the accusations. It's not that rare considering the fact they just did this 2 years ago with Christina Peterson. So it's not that rare. We have to know as lawyers and as litigants, people in the courtroom, that the judge, male or female, young or old, it doesn't really matter, is above reproach. Well, that's a lie. We don't have kings and queens of any court here in the United States of America. The United States of America will not condone a monarchy, a dictatorship, some sort of authoritarian type of government existing in our judicial branch of power. We will not condone it. She was elected, period. She's not queen of the court. She's only there to uphold and interpret the law. And the moment she realized, she didn't have to, and it was shown that she was too incompetent to do it, that's when the report started flowing in. No one has to let a judge run with untethered power. So attorneys need to stop being scared of these judges and remind them what their job is and their role in the judicial branch. It is to interpret the law and enforce the law. Nothing more. Not to sit there and be a king and queen of your court. Unbelievable. So I don't agree with any of this. Are they above reproach and doesn't have a stake in the case? Yes, they do. She has literally proven that she had a stake in the case when she tried to wield her power in her uncle's case. What are you talking about? What you're saying is the exact opposite of what she did. She does care who wins. And she always leans towards the father unless the father is just like an absolute deadbeat or something. So she has a history of, granting, a lot more custody over to the father than the mother, because she has some issue with black women because, she's a black woman and I guess she hates herself. Who knows? She didn't like me because I wore a Spelman College hoodie. Like I care. I don't like the fact you're wearing a black robe and sitting on the bench and you're biased. The commission's recommendation now heads to the Georgia Supreme Court, which will decide whether Williams should be removed from office. Williams previously told the commission that removal would be excessive and that a suspension would be more appropriate given the circumstances. What circumstances? If you having someone wrongfully jailed, you don't get to dictate your punishment, girl. She has the opportunity to respond before the state's highest court makes its decision. What they need to do is make the right decision and say, you got to go. Bye, Felicia. Don't come back. Ever. Don't ever come back. We done. So, like I said, I have been reporting on this particular judge because she was the judge that presided over my custody case that was completely unnecessary and unwarranted simply because my ex could not co-parent like a grown-ass fucking man. But either way, let's get to it. So, a 3-member panel of the Judicial Qualifications Commission of Georgia is recommending that Fulton County Judge Shermela J. Williams be removed from her post. The report cites multiple instances. Of course, we went over that included the jailing of a 21-year-old. The panel's 66-page report cites multiple cases where Williams ruled months after the final hearings in child support cases. Williams also made a personal call to an associate on behalf of her uncle, according to the report. Yeah, she called the attorney's office that represented her uncle and was trying to convince the actual associate that worked in the office as to why, she would not allow this case to go this far and why she would have dismissed this and blah, blah, blah. And basically just, trying to give legal argument over the phone to a random attorney there. And the attorney told her to do the right thing. You're going to have to contact his attorney and talk to him and talk to his attorney about whatever your questions are, even though they can't share with you case details because you're not a party to the case. And his attorneys are going to have to file motions to the judge presiding over that case. And she didn't like that. She literally tried to force them to do some underhanded scheme or underhanded deal with them. And they weren't going for it. The panel said Williams was not forthright in hearings, and of all the witnesses, she should have been the most candid. Yeah, she lied like hell so many times and then sat there and tried to cry. Yeah, cry those tears. Because I know I cried a lot of tears over my own 2 children. And you didn't give 2 shits. Yep. Keep crying, girl. Aside from the proven misconduct, what is equally, if not more distressing, is Judge Williams' sometimes outright dishonesty and other times evolving testimony during these proceedings. The panel said in its report, Judge Williams gave false testimony regarding some allegations and was evasive and deceitful on others. Of course, she was evasive and deceitful because that's, what liars do. We should not have to ask questions multiple times or ask the exact right question to get an accurate, clear, and complete answer because she knew she screwed up. Moreover, she should not have to clean up her testimony between hearing sessions to make it sound better after an adverse witness testifies. She had witnesses in there going in there just giving her the business, and then she has to come back and say something different. That's what's so crazy. So, she brought this on herself. The decision whether to remove Williams is up to the Supreme Court of Georgia. They need to do the right thing, and let me tell you why. Because if not, it will destroy the public's trust in the judicial system, in our court system. And many attorneys will be requesting that she be removed from their cases. They're going to be seeking recusals all day, every day. Don't let her attorney bamboozle you all over there at the Georgia Supreme Court by saying it would go against the will of the people. Some dumb nonsense he said. No, it wouldn't. How does it go against the will of the people when her reelection was basically given to her by default because she was uncontested? But now we know. Now we know. So we're going to be more keen on how we vote and whom we elect to serve on these judicial roles. We're definitely going to pay a lot more attention. The decision whether to remove Williams is up to the Supreme Court. Williams' attorney said in an email to the Center Square that the judge was disappointed in the recommendation and disagrees with the conclusions. We don't care. Removal is the most severe penalty that can be levied against the judge and is inconsistent with the JQC's determinations in other cases. No, it's not. They removed Christina Peterson. I suggest you guys go read that one. Judge Williams intends to challenge the panel's recommendation before the Georgia Supreme Court, said Williams' attorneys, Gabe Banks and Jamala McFadden, in a joint statement. If the Supreme Court adopts the panel's recommendations, Judge Williams' removal would be against the will of the voters. No, it won't. That's a lie. It will not be against the will of the voters. And a loss to the citizens of Fulton County. No, it won't. Most of the voters are leaving me comments and emailing me. They want her ass gone too, because she has been so corrupt for 4 years that she's had a detrimental effect on many cases that weren't even included in the JQC complaint. So no, they want her gone. We all want her gone. And if voters need to come down there and protest to show you what that looks like, please don't make us have to do that. So during the pendency of this matter, Judge Williams remains committed to serving the citizens of Fulton County who elected her. What, 6 people? Nah, she need to go. She need to go. All right, so I just want to go over the Chat GPT regarding the report and recommendation. I do have it here. And let me just pull this up. This is the actual Judicial Qualifications Communication Commission. I'm sorry, State of Georgia. This is the actual docket here. So you see the complaint. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 cases that were included in this complaint that she completely screwed up. So there are 2 complaints. One that was filed in 24. So that's S24, Z as in zebra, 1139. And then you have the Supreme Court docket case number S as in Sam, 25, Z as in zebra, 0722. And then what they ended up doing was combining both together in regards to Judge Williams, Shermela J. Williams, and you have report and recommendation. This is 66 pages long. Okay. So I encourage you all to go on the JQC website and read this recommendation. It is so good. So good. They broke it down as to why they told her to get the hell on and kick rocks. It was a unanimous decision. This is how heinous and egregious her actions were. They unanimously decided that she needed to be removed. Bottom line. And it was a great decision. So I want to read just a portion of, let's see. Okay. I'm going to try to read like the last portions of maybe last page here. I just don't want to. Hold on. I just want to, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to touch on it. So Okay, let's start with here. Page 61. Similarly, Judge Williams asserts that she has a lack of any disciplinary history with either the State Bar of Georgia or with the JQC. That is a factor to consider and helpful for her generally, but does not take into account the fact that though she has never been formally disciplined by the JQC, this is also not a case that presents a singular instance of misconduct before this body. Rather, there were multiple instances of misconduct which spanned the majority of her first term in office from day one. She had been doing this for 4 years. Finally, she contends that she has accepted responsibility for most of the conduct. Oh God. This presents the murkiest of the mitigation evidence because it is still far from clear what Judge Williams has really admitted to, given that as readily as she admitted to certain violations, she quickly retracted them because lying, even contradicting at times what her own lawyer stated on the record to us. This confusion was created by nobody but her. She wishes to appear cooperative and receive the benefit of admitting, I am admitting my wrong. I am taking responsibility, and I try to take responsibility from day one. But when you're told the only thing that's on the table for you is removal, I don't have a choice but to come to you all. And then they have something cited here, but she also wants us to ignore. Look at this. She also wants us to ignore her other words and actions throughout the entire process that indicate otherwise, which means she was disingenuous. She was not sincere. She was just saying, yeah, I did it to get credit for admitting it, but then wasn't remorseful about it. And being a judge, you would think remorse would go a long way, because you remember when you told me that, it would come off as if I'm lying because I didn't have to release sealed case information. Yeah, you threatened me, Shermela Williams. I need an attorney to help me with my appeal because my appeal will be a slam dunk. I need a whole attorney to help me with my appeal. I need it. I really do. Let's see here. So she also wants us to ignore her other words and actions throughout this entire process that indicate otherwise, starting with how she behaved when she received her first complaint. The director asks, do you remember calling the main line of the JQC, speaking to Miss Bursch, and immediately saying, this is BS. This is how this whole judge talked, y'all. She immediately said, this is BS. Judge Williams admitted, I probably did. Oh, okay, so you admitted you're saying this is BS. The director and Judge Williams both urged us to look at recent decisions for guidance, and they have identified those which they she just said, I probably did. Okay. Yeah, well, that's why they unanimously decided to remove your ass from the bench too, girl. So the director and Judge Williams both urged us to look at recent decisions for guidance, and they have identified those which they each contend are the most similar to this matter. Judge William offers inquiry concerning Norris 314 Georgia 1022 case as the most similar and insists it is on all fours with this case. Let's see him scroll down. While it is true that her case and the Norris case bear some similarities, they are not identical. Because she said they were identical, and they're not. The case before us involves a witness being needlessly humiliated, handcuffed, and placed in a holding cell for a period of 15 to 45 minutes based on a directive from the judge. Because she's so biased, she had a girl falsely detained. The citizen in Norris endured a similar and humiliating berating from the judge, felt as though he was not free to leave, was told no when he asked to leave, and an armed deputy was standing at the door to the judge's office. However, he was never physically placed in handcuffs, escorted from the courtroom, and locked in a jail cell. Oh, God. Moreover, the illegal jailing albeit the worst misconduct alleged is not all that has been alleged and now proven here. Perhaps if our illegal jailing incident existed in isolation, a different result might follow. Might. It's a strong might. It does not. Here there are a pattern. There is a pattern. There has been a pattern of misconduct alleged and proven by the director. The director asserts that this case much more closely aligns with the multiple CJC violations and evasive, disingenuous, and dishonest testimony displayed in inquiry concerning Peterson. There we go. Christina Peterson. And this is going back to 2024 when it was finally ruled and resolved. So, yes, this is the judge here that I was referring to earlier with Christina Peterson from Douglasville. And they had her removed from the bench as well. So, the inquiry concerning Peterson, 319 Georgia, 316, 2024, we agree. Aside from the proven misconduct, and what is equally, if not more distressing, is Judge Williams' sometimes outright dishonesty and other times evolving testimony during these proceedings. Judge Williams gave false testimony regarding some allegations and was evasive and deceitful on others. We should not have to ask questions multiple times or ask the exact right question to get an accurate, clear, and complete answer. Moreover, she should not have to clean up her testimony between hearing sessions to make it sound better after an adverse witness testifies. So a witness will get up there, testify, tell the truth. It made her look bad, and then she turns around and tries to basically revamp her story and make it seem like it's not all that bad. You know, because cult of personality and all. Ugh. Of all the witnesses who came before us, the one who is expected to be the most forthright and most candid is the judge. In the matter before us, unfortunately, that was not the case. Coomer 2, the second, 316, Georgia at 866 provides us with our North Star on this particular issue. The rule of law depends on such public trust. We do not expect judges to be perfect. Judges are human. But we can and do expect them to be honest. The judiciary has no place for dishonest persons. And Shermela Williams is an inveterate liar. She will lie like hell. She will misinterpret the law, lie like hell, and say, oh, that law doesn't apply, while she still fails to read motions. Yeah, that's how she is. She's horrible. And place confidence that judges are honest is particularly important given the place of the judiciary in our system of government. The judiciary's authority depends in large measure on the public's willingness to respect and follow its decisions. As Justice Frankfurter once put it, justice must satisfy the appearance of justice. Amen. Not have someone think that they're a queen in the court. We do not expect Judge Williams to be perfect. However, we did expect her to be honest during her testimony. On that front, Judge Williams fell woefully short. Look at this. Woefully short, people. As discussed throughout this recommendation, Judge Williams' answers evolved throughout the hearing depending on what answer she believed helped her defense the most. Because when you're not telling the truth, you just stick with what's going to help you the most. Funny. At times, her responses were incomplete and required intense, probing questions by us in order to obtain a clear picture of what had actually transpired. Her stunning lack of candor, meaning she just lied like hell, to us was disappointing, if not unsettling, to say the least, as we hold judges to a higher standard. Given the level of untruthful testimony Judge Williams offered throughout, we are left with little option but to seek the ultimate sanction of removal. Yes, ultimate sanction of removal. Lord, we thank you. A judge that cannot be trusted to tell the truth cannot be trusted to remain in office. Exactly. We have approached our task with the solemnity solemnity, and seriousness. Solemnity. I'm probably butchering that word. And seriousness it is due. We do not take this responsibility lightly and do not make this recommendation without the full knowledge of what this means for Judge Williams personally and professionally. However, the object of proceedings such as this one is not to punish the individual judge, but to maintain the honor and dignity of the judiciary and the proper administration of justice. Matter of inquiry concerning a judge, 265 Georgia, 843-848, 1995. Internal punctuation and citation omitted. As our Supreme Court has explained, the judiciary's judgment will be obeyed only so long as the public respects it. There you go. As the public respects it. And that respect will not long survive judges who act in a manner that undermines public confidence in their judgment and integrity. And that's Coomer 2316 Georgia at 855-56. We unanimously, here it is, people. We unanimously recommend that Judge Shermela J. Williams be removed from her position as Fulton County Superior Court judge. Get her lying, trifling, biased behind out that position. Upon the filing of this report and recommendation, the director shall transmit the record to the Supreme Court of Georgia. So now they're just waiting on the Supreme Court of Georgia to say what they got to say. Y'all, this is why it doesn't pay to be one of these corrupt judges. Do the right thing from day one. And don't show biasness. Don't show biasness. I personally would have rather just having a settlement out of court and, co-parenting from there, but it wasn't my fault. I was the defendant. My ex was the one dragging me to court. That's why I said if I can get enough money to get an attorney or get a pro bono attorney that can help me with my appeal, man, that case will be a slam dunk. It'll be a slam dunk. So that's pretty much that. I mean, Shermela Williams got to go. You got to go, girl. You got to go. I told you, you and Christina Peterson were about to become best friends. I made that clear. I want to thank all of you for tuning in and for supporting me here in the Lady Luck Club. We're at 28,000 supporters. Let's go ahead and get to 30. I need 2 more 1,000 supporters. Let's get this information out. Let's share it. Let's spread it around. People need to know who they're voting for, and they need to be careful. And that's a lesson to all of us, right? Vote for those local positions because they mean a lot, especially for these judges. Some of them just aren't fit to be on the bench. They're just not fit to be on the bench. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I am so excited and happy to see the resolution on this. I've been maintaining and keeping track of what's going on. And now it has finally come that Judge Shermela Williams is unanimously voted out of the bench. All right? That speaks volumes. And that goes to show how horrible she was. So stay tuned. We'll see what happens. We'll be looking for the decision from the Georgia Supreme Court. Ways to donate are going to be in the description of the video. And also, make sure you check out the description for our partnership with Dr. Squatch Products. Dr. Squatch soap and deodorants and toiletries make you feel good and feel fresh and smell clean all day. So get some Dr. Squatch products. I do receive a commission on the sales. So grab some today. Thank you guys so much for your support. And until the next one, Lady Luck Club out. Deuces.